Hello, this is Darth, Atheist, and I am responding to the video Why I Am a Christian by a person named XXD4RWDXX. I will be addressing him directly in most of my rebuttal. Dishonesty will be punished with a rational outburst. Dear young man, I applaud your attempt to explain why you are a Christian. Your first statement to the audience is that you will try and make the viewer question their beliefs. I agree, we should question any kind of beliefs that have no evidence. Yet, you say that you are a Christian. So this either means that you have evidence to believe what you do, or it means you use a double standard when it comes to questioning beliefs. Your second claim was I was brought up in a Christian family, which is suspect for me. What I mean is you just happened to be born into a family that practiced that particular religion. If you were born in a modern Iran state, you would be raised Muslim. And if you were born in India, you would be raised Hindu, etc. Now, you said that being raised in a Christian family did not make you a Christian, but I'm sure that it helped. I'm with you so far on the questioning the church part, which I would advise for all Christian children, teens, and even adults. I'm a little confused, however, because if you were asking questions about Christianity, why would you do it at school? I could understand if it was a Christian school, but if it was a public school, why would you bother looking for an answer there? Agnosticism is a safe place to stay, which is called on the fence, and I can understand why being there can make sense because you are truly unconvinced for the existence or non-existence of a God. You said that you noticed there was nothing special about your family and friends who were Christians, but they did not hold grudges, they tried to help people, and they said that you had total free will. Well, there are lots of people who are like that who are not Christian, and there are many Christians who are not like that at all. So it just so happened that your family was Christian, and they happened to be good people at the same time. Now, the thing I cannot understand is, if your family and friends were so wonderful, then misbehaving was either the result of what they did to you or said about you, which would not be the result of what you said about them. Or it means that you had a psychological problem early on in your life apart from them. Kids who are arrested and attempt suicide are not thinking with a full page. So I would ask, why would a child raised in a good home do that? There are plenty of other children raised in good homes who do not behave that way at all. Firstly, if they were truly happy people and they helped other people, I don't think that you would have done the bad things you claim to have done. And there are just as many non-Christians who try to help people who do not do it for any other reason than to do good. Okay, now we get to the meat of your video. You said, I tried the evolutionary path, but as we have seen, people use that to justify murder and to deny any possibilities of God. Hitler used this to kill millions. Okay, for a person who claims that you question things and Christianity itself, I don't see that from the statement that you made. Firstly, there is no evolutionary path. If you are referring to the theory of evolution, it is a scientific theory, like atomic theory or heliocentric theory. Secondly, you have no evidence that a scientific theory was used to justify murder and deny the possibility of God. That is because if you bothered questioning things like you claim, you would realize that many Christians and other religious people accept the theory of evolution, and it is perfectly compatible with their belief in God. So you did not dig deep enough. And as far as Hitler is concerned, he never followed Darwinian evolution. He was first and foremost a creationist and a Christian. All you would have to do, if you were not so lazy, is read Mein Kampf, which is his book, to see this. Also, Hitler's perversion of science was no different than when a person uses atomic theory to create an atom bomb, which then kills people. Does that mean that atomic theory is false or evil? Of course not. Hitler's belief of evolution was that only the white Aryans were created in the perfect image of God as human beings, while Jews and other non-Aryans evolved and were just lower animals. He also used eugenics to further his racist ideology, which came directly from the Bible. You cannot blame science for what someone misapplies it for. For a quick history lesson, Hitler was raised Roman Catholic and said in his later years that he would always remain a Roman Catholic. He signed concordats with the Vatican. He was voted into power with the help of the German Catholic Party. The Christian Society of Germany and Austria embraced him, which would hardly make him an atheist or an evolutionist. He admired Martin Luther, the Christian reformer, who happened to also hate Jewish people. Also, if you bothered reading the Christian Bible, you would see that more often than not, the God of the Bible and its followers justified murder, rape, slavery, genocide, child beating, intolerance, racism, and all other kinds of atrocities, and they still try to justify those things today. I challenge you to show me an evolutionist, or any scientist today who follows Hitler or Nazism. When you accuse a scientific theory of justifying barbarism and murder, yet you declare that you are a Christian who embraces a book that clearly demonstrates and says such things to worse degrees, that is known as the pot calling the kettle black. So the reason that you are a Christian is because you misunderstood a scientific theory and you were too lazy to learn? You have no clue about evolutionary theory, young man. The theory of evolution is on a biological level and has nothing to do with your idea of something called nothing exploded, made the universe, made the earth, non-living chemicals formed DNA. The theory of evolution only answers how life of today formed from the past through natural selection. So my question is, if you do not even know the basic premise of the evolutionary theory, then you have no right or authority to criticize it. You did not ignore it since it is a problem that has nothing to do with biological evolution. So your straw man fallacy came out and you failed to address it. Why do you think that if a person accepts evolutionary theory, they can do what they like? Are you this naive? I would like to have a lot of things, but I can't ever do it because of my limitations. That does not discount the scientific theory. You decided, most likely from your family, what evolution was, then based on your flawed understanding of it, you began to use a faulty argument against the non-existent problem. Then you made up your mind on what you would do if evolution were true. I find this to show a dark side of Christians like yourself. You would actually do what you like, whether it be good or evil, if you found out there was no God, or if evolution were true. That tells anybody with a brain that you are the one who has a moral problem. You asked, why do we have morals? The answer, because we are able to experience suffering and happiness, and when we deal with other people or animals, we ask what causes suffering or happiness, and that is what is known as morals. You ask, why do we have love? The answer, well, love is an emotion of the brain, a production of the brain rather, which depending on how you define it, could be expressed in many different ways. The reason we do have love is because of selfishness, reciprocation, reproduction, and other emotions.